Well, good evening and welcome to this Tuesday, February 23rd edition of Bermuda School Sports Talk. I'm your host, Earl Bass, and I'm joined by, right now, 4 senior school students, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. We're going to start with you, Amber.
Good evening. My name is Amber Simons. I go to Work Academy. I'm 17 and in my last year of high school.
And Brian.
Hi, my name is Brian Desmond. I go to Work Academy and I'm 17 years old.
Okay. Adrielle.
Hello, my name is Adrielle Baston and I go to Seabridge Academy and I'm 17 years old.
Okay. And Paige.
Evening, my name is Kayeju Simmons. I'm 17 and I go Bermuda Institute.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome. All of you kind of are multi-sport athletes in not only in training but in your sporting endeavors. Amber, you mix a lot of sports, but which one would you say stands out and why?
Right now, I'd say volleyball. It's what I have been doing predominantly for the past 4 years. I'd say I love it the most because it was a team sport, and I've done a bunch of individual sports outside of school for like so long, and then going into this team sport, there was a sense of like friendship and family, and I really enjoyed that. So that's why I like playing it. Yeah.
And what about you, Brian?
For me, I've really only done swimming. So I've been swimming for the past 10 years, I guess. And really just, it's an individual sport kind of, but it's also got a big team factor when we're training. So just having a big team feel is really nice.
I would say football is my favorite sport at the moment because I've been playing football since I was 8 years old and I always like that team feeling.
I would say track and field. I only do track and field. I've been doing it for about 7 to 10 years. Yeah.
Mr. Basin, you're actually on mute, so we can't hear you.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Sorry about that because I was talking. Okay. Two of you kind of just pick, just do the one sport, and Brian and Simmons. What do you find is the highlight of your training to make sure that when you are going to compete at this one particular sport, you are, fully prepared to be in the best shape, to be in the right frame of mind? And I'll start with you, Ms. Simmons.
I would say my coaches really to like push and help me thrive for my track events.
Okay. And you, Brian?
I would say also my coaches because they are the ones that really help me to be the best that I can be and let me know, I guess, with technique, how I'm doing and how I'm looking in the pool.
Okay. Now, Azriel and Amber, both of you play, like because I've seen you play multiple sports and do multiple things. You've indicated which sports you highlight the most, but how much of doing other sports helps you to focus on the one sport that you really feel good about? And I'll start with you, Azriel.
I think that playing multiple sports helped me become better focused and more fit, I would say, so I can be able to play multiple sports.
Okay. And you, Amber?
Um, with the multiple sports, I'd say again, like Azriel said, fitness is a big thing. You also learn different disciplines in certain sports that could help you, like help me in my main sport of volleyball. Something like you can add, something like you can try out that would just help you improve like your game or your technique just a little bit. So that sort of interaction between the sports is like really important.
Yeah. What do you find unique about your sport that kind of keeps you intrigued in it? And I'll start with you, Brian.
With swimming, I guess really it gives me the opportunity. It's given me a lot of opportunities to travel with the team and just meet a bunch of new people and make new friends. So being able to travel around the world basically is probably what is the best part of swimming for me.
And how are you able to balance school with that? Because obviously you guys train in the morning, you train in the evening, you have school in the middle of the day, and then how are you managing that balance at?
Well, it's not easy, I guess, but having to make practices in the morning and afternoon, as you said, and having to be there on time, I guess helps you be organized and helps you learn to manage your time well. So when you have to, I guess, start studying or do some homework, you can do it.
Okay. And Adriel, for you, playing multiple sports, how do you find balancing that as well as school? Because you do netball, you do track and field, you try a bit of a lot of things, but you also have that school portion to do as well. So how are you managing that part of a daily, weekly routine?
How I manage is to get all of my schoolwork out of the way, and then so I'm not busy with running around doing schoolwork and sports. So I get all my work done, and then I play sports.
Okay, all right. And Ms. Simmons, how are you managing school, balancing that training now that you're back into track meets? How are you managing?
It's not easy, but I balance my schoolwork and my extracurricular activities by developing a schedule and planning what needs to be done and when it needs to be done by. And I try my best not to procrastinate and stress myself out.
Okay, all right. And are you easily stressed out? Are you easily distracted?
Sometimes I get distracted, but my nana and my papa, they will help me like get back on track, I guess.
Okay, cool. And you, Amber?
Similar to the others, it's definitely a challenge to keep on track of everything, especially once you get down to your last couple of years. But I schedule a lot. And then we have these free periods in school, and I try and get work done as much as possible to sort of like balance that out. But at the same time, I love going to my sport because it's kind of that time you can take away where you can just focus on something else and you don't have to worry about school. Um, so it kind of gives this sort of balance for you.
Good stuff, good stuff. Now, the fact that you've been involved in triathlon, you've been involved in cycling, and you say your focus now is more on volleyball. The physicality of doing the cycling, doing the triathlon, how does that set you up for volleyball, which on the surface one would say is not as strenuous, but obviously it's a different technique, it's a different, all different aspects of a game.
Yes. So with triathlon, it is a completely different sport. You're doing running, you're doing swimming, you're doing cycling. And that takes a toll on your body, but at the same time, it builds quite a bit of fitness. And I transitioned into volleyball, and I actually found out I had these muscles that I never even used when I was doing triathlon, and that was crazy. But it gave me this foundation of fitness. And though you might not think volleyball is this strenuous sport, once you get to the high level where a lot of where I'm playing, we're junior national team and women's national team, it is very demanding. It takes a real toll on your body, so you really have to keep up that fitness, and that's what I was glad I had.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
Now, how much of the emphasis is put on actually separating that? I know Ezreal's already stated that she gets her schoolwork out of the way before doing all of that. But someone like you, Brian, you guys are training like 6 o'clock in the morning or 6:30 in the morning, and then you got school, and after school you're back in the pool, and then you got homework. How much free time do you have to yourself?
I have not too much because of the courses I'm doing. They're quite hard, but once I get my work done, I usually have still quite a bit. And the weekends, I have some free time, so I can still hang out with my friends and such. So, yeah, I definitely still have some free time.
Yeah. Now that at a young age, you guys have to make sacrifices, because if you want anything in life, you have to make those sacrifices in order to progress. What are some of the things you guys feel as if you have to leave on the sideline in order to get into your sport, achieve your goal, and also make sure that it's in line with what you want to do in life? And I'll ask you that.
Some things I would have to put aside is hanging out with my friends. Like I would be like, oh, I can't go today because I have training or I have a track meet, but I'll catch you guys later. So I just balance my social life with my school and my extracurricular activities.
Okay, nice. Adriana?
I quite do the same thing, just balancing out my time equally and making sure I get what I have to get done first.
Okay. What about you, Brian?
Yeah, it's kind of the same. So, say some people are hanging out on Friday night and I've got practice really early the next morning. It's just, yeah, I'll see them on Saturday, I guess. Just kind of have to leave it.
Do you at times feel like, man, I wish I could just go one time, or just skip training or skip a meet one time? Do you ever get that feeling?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, our coach is pretty good. If we've been doing quite well in practice, he'll let us. He'll be like, oh yeah, you guys can go to this party if you want. I know you've been training quite hard, so he'll give us 1 or 2 off maybe every couple months.
Oh, okay. Strict coach. What about you, Amber?
Definitely like the others, hanging out with friends. Like you'll be there one night, and you go, okay, I have to leave early. I have to make 7:30 in the morning. I can't stay out. Sleep has definitely been sacrificed a lot. I, like Brian, I just sometimes wish, oh, do I have to go? Then you actually have to get up and go. So yeah, sleep's a big thing for me that's been sacrificed.
Well, we want to welcome Alan. Alan, let's let you introduce yourself to the folks.
All right, good evening, everybody. Sorry I'm late. Just had some technical difficulties, but my name is Alan Martin. I'm 17 years old and I attend Cedar Bridge Academy.
All right.
Thanks for having me on.
And what sport are you into, Alan?
Football, mainly. I do a bit of running, but mainly football.
Okay. Now, I know we have a few people here that are team sport orientated and individual orientated. Now, I'm going to ask the people that do the team sport, having to rely on teammates that might not have the same drive and passion as you to play the sport. How do you manage that psychologically for yourself and encourage them to kind of pick up their game? And I'll start with you, Mr. Martin.
Well, pretty much, I don't let it get to me. I like to work for the team, and I always put my best forward. So if someone else isn't like putting their best forward, I try to ask or see why they ain't doing it. If they just ain't feeling on the day, usually I overwork, so I just do sometimes the work for them. But I don't really let that stuff get to me if someone's not
Yeah,
focused.
definitely. What about you, Azriel? As a team sport, I know you're pretty much into a lot of team sports. So how do you manage that in a team sport setting?
I don't let it get to me, but if my teammates are feeling down, I encourage them to keep on working, do better, you could do it. And for myself, I don't let it get to me because I know what I'm capable of and I don't let it hinder my playing.
Okay. And Amber, when you're doing volleyball, it's more of a team sport.
Yeah, I'd say sometimes it's really challenging because you're trying to achieve one goal. And that volleyball, you just want to get the ball back over to back over the net and score a point. And when your teammate is not there, not doing as well as they could be, it tends to become difficult. But I think the really important thing is that you try and encourage them because volleyball is such a psychological sport. If one person gets down, it tends to bring the whole team down, and you don't want that because again, once your whole team goes down, it's really hard to win. So you really just have to keep a positive mindset and keep encouraging the teammate. Go, look, if you miss that point, don't worry about it next one. Like you really just have to forget about it and move on and just keep pushing.
Mm. And Brian, for you with the individual sport, unless you guys are doing a relay, as with the individual sport, how much do you have to convince yourself that getting up, getting to training, doing that's all that's asked of me, does the go through your mind to ensure that at the end of the day you go home feeling satisfied about what you've been able to accomplish on the day?
Well, it's definitely hard in the mornings, say waking up at 5 o'clock and trying to get out of bed. I mean, sometimes I just don't want to get up at all. But I guess just thinking of the end goal will kind of helps me get out, and thinking about that is what I guess motivates me to actually go to practice and wake up. And I know if I don't, sometimes, like if I do end up sleeping on, I feel really bad about it by the end of the day. So yeah, I try to just think about the end goal.
Okay. And what about you, Ms. Simon, Ms. Simmons? Having that individual sport, and you have to do it all yourself, kind of thing, with the help of your coaches, with the help of your family. But how do you feel as if you have a session that you want to skip and you do actually skip it? How does that make you feel?
It kind of missing a session kind of sets me back because I wouldn't get the full benefit of that session because I missed it. I mean, I do feel bad because I am setting myself back and I'm not putting my best foot forward. Like if I want it, I have to go and do it. Like I have to push myself to do it.
Okay. Now, Alan, what position do you play, and what strengths do you take to your sport?
I play a variety of positions. I can play in the midfield or a striker. I prefer striker, but this season I played a lot of midfield. So I would say my biggest strength is my mentality to never give up. I always want to go to the final whistle, win, lose, or draw. So yeah, I am a great leader on the field. I always try and make my teammates a better player during the games and our training sessions. So yeah.
Okay, all right. And what about you, Brian? What is your strength in the pool, and what do you stand out for?
Well, for me, I guess I wouldn't be considered tall for my sport of swimming. So really, I guess just attention to details, like within the technique, uh, is probably my strength, my strong point. But it sometimes does hold me back if I get too focused on trying to perfect something, and it just kind of hinders my performance because I'm too focused on that. But yeah.
Okay, all right. Ms. Simmons, what would you say to that?
I would say my mind and I don't know, my
Yeah.
physique.
Okay. And are you considered a sprinter, a middle distance? What do you bring to the table?
I'm in the middle right now. I'm in the middle of sprinting and middle distance.
Hmm.
Like I'm in the middle.
When you say in the middle, what are you, 400 or 800?
My main event is 400. It's a long sprint,
Yes.
middle distance,
Hmm.
and I do the 200 for the
Okay.
speed for my 400.
Okay. All right. Cool. Adrielle, what's your strength in your sport, and how do you bring that to the table?
My strength for football is that I'm strong and able to hold off players, and I play striker. So that gives me an advantage to stop them from getting the ball and my speed.
Okay. Cool. And for you, Amber, I mean, in volleyball, you rotate so much. Where would your coach rather you be at crucial times in the game?
So I'm an outside hitter, which means I tend to be in the front row. I hit the ball over the net, and I also go into the back and defensively pass. And I'd say being loud on a volleyball court is quite an important thing. You have to compete with, especially when you go away, multiple whistles, other people shouting. So I am quite loud, which my teammates can hear me, so they know what's going on, and it kind of just brings everybody together. Another strength is I'm quite agile with that heavy fitness background. And sometimes you'd have to make up 10 meters of the court in less than literally a second. That's how fast the ball moves. So that's really good. And then I'm able to jump quite high, which is good for hitting and blocking. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Now I'm going to get into a bit of school and what challenges you face in that. What would you say, what would you consider your most challenging subject, and what are you doing to kind of offset that, to make it, to turn the grades, or to turn that whole idea of this is more challenging, turn it around? And we'll start with you, Ms. Simmons.
My most challenging subject would be world history at the moment and math. But to turn it around, I have a friend. She's like very smart and she would help bring up my grades. Like she would help me study. She would help me stay focused. She would answer questions, like any questions that I have to help me.
Okay, good stuff. You found a friend to help. That's good. Amber, what about you?
Um, the IB course is so hard, and I found like the most challenging subjects are biology and math. Particularly biology, there was just so much more content you need to learn from my GCSE years, year 10, 11, to my IB years. Um, so one thing that I found really important was practicing questions over questions to really get the techniques down of how examiners want you to write the questions and how many points you can get based off this. So yeah, that's how I cope.
Okay. And what about you, Adrielle?
I would say math because you have to get down the method of solving the problem. And if you don't have the method, you can't solve the problem. So that's my only
And
subject.
how are you working it out? How are you addressing that?
I have practice questions, I do, so that I can solve the problem easy and there's no problem.
Great stuff. Great stuff. What about you, Alan?
For me, it's
Yeah.
probably biology. Okay, for me, my most challenging subject is probably biology or English, but I would probably say biology the most because I didn't start biology straight away. I came into it 2 years into Cedar Bridge, so I was already behind. So now I would say I have caught up a bit because I have to review. I have to keep up with everybody else. So I have to go back and learn what they already learned. So that's pretty much how I've managed to solve it, but it still is difficult.
Okay. All right. Cool. And you, Brian?
For me, I'd probably say physics is my hardest subject because back, I guess the last couple of years, I didn't find it too hard, but then for the last 2 years, they kind of flipped it around and told us a lot of the stuff we learned just wasn't right. So trying to relearn that stuff and get my head around some of the more difficult topics now is quite hard. But I try to see the teacher sometimes after school if I can for some extra help, and then just trying to study with my friends sometimes makes it easier than just studying by myself.
Okay. What ambitions do you guys have about future education, and what are you hoping to achieve in life after school? What are your goals? What have you set for yourselves, Amber?
A big goal is definitely to finish university. Right now, I have an idea of what I want to do. It's I'm going into recreation and sports business and psychology. Where to go from there, I don't really know. I do want to get a good job where I'm happy. I think that's an important thing for me, is to be happy in that job. I don't want to come down like 10, 15, 20 years down the road and be like, I hate this job. Like, that's just not something I want to happen. So I want to be like secure in my job.
Okay, good stuff. What about you, Brian?
I don't really know what I want to do, I guess, in university. I probably would do something to do with math or business, but hopefully I plan to finish university, but I really haven't figured too much out, I guess.
Too much swimming in the way?
Yeah.
What about you, Alan?
So I plan after school, I plan on like doing electrical engineering if I don't make it in football. So I plan on leaving the island in June to like continue my footballing experience. And if it doesn't work out, I plan on coming back and taking a few electrical engineering courses. See, that's pretty much my goal in life. So yeah.
Okay, good stuff. And Adriel?
I plan to graduate college and further my career in recreation, and I volunteered at the Bermuda hospital, so
Oh,
that's my plan.
okay, all right. And you, Kaisha?
I plan on doing physical therapy, I want to be a physiotherapist.
Oh, okay, all right, nice, nice. And how much of the sport that you're currently in kind of sets you up for what you want to achieve in life? I know doing sports is one of those things where you have to be kind of regimented in what you do. You have to be on time. You have to get yourself in shape. How much of that is kind of, do you think, is helping you to achieve what you want to achieve in life? And we'll start with you, Kaisha.
I would say my sport's helping me because whenever I get injured, I have to go to the physiotherapist. So I just fell in love with physiotherapy because of my injuries, I guess.
Yeah. Are you constantly asking questions there to get a detail on, just what your injuries are, and you learn from what they're doing for your injuries? You're learning some of those routines as well.
Yes, I am. I ask a lot of questions. I ask my physiotherapist a lot of questions.
Good stuff. Good stuff. What about you, Adrian?
Uh, Sports help me to become very active because my job career requires me to help be active, help elderly people try to stay fit, stay healthy. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Alan, what about you?
Sports helps me a lot with like pretty much everything. Like football, as you get into the older rankings, you have to. It's not much about your skill set anymore. Well, it is, but it's mainly about your mentality and how you understand the game. Because as you get older, the tactical side of it becomes harder, and the physical side gets harder too because you get it against older people. But if you have the tactical mindset, you can like last out. So I would say it's helped me like be more like sharp with my thinking in many situations in my life now.
Good stuff. And what about you, Brian?
I'd say swimming's helped me a lot in what I want to do further in my life because it's helped me get accepted to a Division I university in the U.S. and on a Division I swimming team. So that's swimming definitely made it a lot easier to get accepted to that school.
It's a big responsibility. D1 school swimming. That's a lot on your shoulders to constantly be on that team and be focused. It's a little more what you would do here. How are you setting yourself up to be ready for that challenge?
Well, I'm doing the IB course like Amber is, and it's quite I guess, it's quite a hard course, and so just making it through that, I think, is helping prep me for how university is going to be, and just trying to keep my grades up and get all my work in on time, as well as balancing with swimming. I think is prepping me well.
Okay, good stuff. Now let me ask. I'm going to go down the line. What has been the one thing that has stood out for you at a meet, at an event, that you felt will always stick in your mind with a performance? It doesn't even have to be your performance, but a performance of someone that kind of says, I would never, ever, ever forget what happened here. And I'll start with you, Amber.
Particularly at a competition, it's the amount of camaraderie between all the teams, and you don't know these people. These are people you've never met, never seen. You're facing off to get into these finals, but like you'll be against someone and you do a good hit or they do a good hit, a block, or a serve, whatever, and you're gonna look at this person and say, "Good job." And it doesn't matter who they are. I think what stood out to me was the level of appreciation everybody has for everybody else, and that sort of brings into this whole family bonding of like a volleyball player. Like you're, no matter who you are, if you play volleyball, you're sort of like this family. So that was something that I will always remember and never forget.
Okay, cool. And Brian?
I'd say for me, the biggest standout, I guess, moment in my sport was last year at a big high school meet in Pennsylvania. There was a kid from a team there that when he was about to swim the 50-meter freestyle or 50-yard freestyle, and everyone knew he was the fastest. So you had all 500 kids right up against the pool deck just watching this guy swim. And just seeing everyone, even though no one was on, I guess almost everyone wasn't on his team because he was on a small team, and just everyone cheering for him was really cool because he ended up going the American record for that age group. And just seeing that and how everyone kind of got behind just one guy that we didn't really know was really cool.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Alan?
Okay, so about a year ago, I went to a tournament in England and we played Celtic from Scotland, and we had played them. We unfortunately we did take a big loss. It was like double digits, but it was the experience that really helped us. But as we like went on the tournament, we had a good game against them before it, but even though we lost, we put up a good fight. So as we went on the tournament, we were watching them play and they were watching us play, and we were always at each other's games, supporting each other. And Celtic did go on to win, and they didn't really allow us to get on the field and celebrate with them, but we were like on the side, like celebrating with them. So I feel like that was being my biggest moment
Well,
of
good
like,
stuff. Good stuff. Adriana?
I would say in football, it's the encouragement. Say if you shoot a good goal, the whole field is cheering for you because that girl was just beautiful, and everybody's just happy because wonderful.
When were you able to achieve that?
My teammates, not me.
Oh, okay. Oh, you haven't scored that goal yet? You're still waiting for that one particular goal?
Oh yeah, I've scored goals, but not like a bullet into the net.
Okay. Be patient. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Tanisha?
I would say what stood out to me is for overseas track meets, it would be meeting friends. Like, I wouldn't say lifelong friendships, but you do see them again and you would remember each other. And the encouragement from other athletes that you don't know or from coaches, even her, it would be coaches, your teammates, other people from other teams, or like parents while you're walking. It'd be like, good job, good run, this, that, and the other.
Mm, okay. And next, I'm going to ask, what are some of the best advice you've had to date about continuing on in your sport that you've had from anyone? It could be a family member, it could be a stranger, it could be a coach. But what is the best advice that you've had thus far in your careers that kind of you take with you each and every day, whether it be in school or in your sport? And I'm going to start with you, Kelly.
So, my coach always tells me fatigue is temporary, like hurt is temporary,
Mm-hmm.
and to not feel sorry for myself. Like sometimes I would, I wouldn't, I don't know how to put it, but if I don't do good or if my coach would see that I'm not doing the best I could be,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, don't feel sorry for yourself. Fatigue is temporary. Just keep going. And that the other coach says it's all up in your head. Like it's a mind thing.
Mm, okay. All right. And what about you, Adrielle?
I would say my coaches encourage me after I know I've missed a girl or missed kicked. So they would say, keep working, good job. Next one will be better. And yeah, they will keep encouraging so that I know I'm doing good.
Okay, cool. And Alan?
I would say my biggest encouragement and advice would be from my dad. He's probably my biggest supporter. If I don't go to a training session, he's always on my back about why and how important it is to go to training. So,
Right.
because if I miss a day, it means the next day. He always says, "Don't think it's slacking off. You got to work harder than you did yesterday's. You would have yesterday." So I would say, yeah, he's my biggest advice.
Okay, cool. And Brian?
I'd say the best advice is probably from my coach, Ben Smith, as I guess kind of like, say if I had a bad race and it's a big competition where I've got 4 more that day or 4 more in the next 3 days, sometimes I'd be really down after that race and it would affect the rest of my races. And so he'd always just be telling me, you can't focus on the past because you can't change anything about it. So I guess take that energy and take that anger for that bad performance and try to turn it into something good for your next one. And just always put your best foot forward.
Good advice, good advice. And Amber?
One thing my coach, Gary LeBlanc, really drives into us is to never give up. And that's mainly like you don't want the ball to ever touch the ground. And even if you're across the court and you have to get the ball that's across the court, you make that effort and you sprint your heart out, hit the ground, and just try and pop it up so your teammates can put it back over the net. So ideally you want it to be popped back up so you can put it back over the net. But even if you just touch it, and then that never give up. I've been down, let's say 5-20, and the game is to 25. And I've come back from that loss. So that's a really important thing that I think you can apply to life situations, is to never give up. Like, even if you make the effort, you can achieve anything.
Okay. What would you say has you kind of I want to take this to the next journey? Now, I know some of you guys sports, you can either go to the Olympics, you can go to World Cups, you can go to whatever. But how much of the sport are you that much dedicated to that you want to get to the highest possible level? And if it's possible to get there, what do you think you have to do to improve your personal skill and for the team guys to help your team to achieve that goal? And we're going to start with you, Amber.
Right. So my goal is to play in uni. I'm in the process of currently trying to achieve that. We're almost there. But yeah, that's what I want to do. And I think the steps I need to take to get there is to really sort of broaden who I play against, because in Bermuda we are so small, and really we don't have that many teams to play against that can really elevate your level. When you travel to like the States, when we travel to the States for competitions, the players play at such a high level, and let's say the sets are quicker, the hits are harder, and it really ups your game. So hopefully I can sort of get that experience. I would love to go to the Olympics. But if that doesn't happen, I want to play in uni, and hopefully I just continue playing after that. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, recently, volleyball had a meeting, and our region, want to emphasize more on the beach side, the smaller side, as we are in a region that has some countries are really, really small, and it's more ideal to work on the smaller groups of people to get to the next level. How are you situated with probably teaming up with somebody to play kind of beach volleyball as to progress to the next level?
Right. Beach volleyball is completely different from indoor volleyball. It requires still the same skill sets, but it's a different discipline, different techniques. I do beach every summer, whether it's 4s or 2s, and it really sort of ups your level competition indoors, because you move that much quicker because it's a different discipline in the sand. You pop balls up that you never even imagined. And Bermuda Volleyball Association has actually expanded their beach team to get younger players in, to sort of get that experience to go to these competitions. So beach has definitely been like, it's good to develop your skill level, and that can be transferred when you go up the ranks in beach, or when you play indoor.
Okay, all right. And let's see, Brian.
For me, yeah, the goal is really to just continue swimming in university. And I guess for me, I really want to try to get some of my university's records, so I'm kind of in the record book there. But for me, like, what really keeps me going, I guess, is when I get into the pool and I feel faster than the week before I did, or I can see on the clock when I'm training that I'm going faster than I was able to before. And that's it's really I guess an addictive feeling when to see that improvement, and that really keeps me going and wanting to keep training to reach my goal, is that improvement that I'm physically seeing.
One of the things with your sport, you might feel as if you've had a fantastic race, and you look up at the clock and it's not what you expected. How frustrating could that be sometimes, because it's more technical? Although you feel good about the race, it's something you're not doing technically right. How frustrating is that for you?
It's definitely a very frustrating feeling, especially, say, in some of the sprints in swimming. A lot of people say, oh, it's just a splash and dash, like just throw your arms over as fast as you can. But you can do that and look up at the clock and be 3 seconds slower than your personal best. So it is really frustrating because you want to just go at it and put as much effort in as you can. But if you don't focus on the details, you're not going to get your time. So it's definitely hard. And our coach is really good at trying to push that into our brain to just keep on focusing on the details and the technique, because that's how it's going to work.
Okay, all right. And what about you, Alan?
My goal in June is to go on to and get my professional contract once I leave after graduating. And if it doesn't work out, I plan on getting a college scholarship through football. So if I don't get professional, hopefully I can get a few college scholarships and go on through there. But my main goal is to get to professional level, which is going to take a lot of hard work and dedication. But I think, well, I know I can do it. I believe myself I can do it.
Well, definitely. You gotta have that. You gotta have that in your mind first.
Yep.
Ezreal?
My goal is to go on to university and play football. And in order to get there, I have to train. I could train on my own time plus with my team. So that's my goal, to keep pushing, keep working hard, and to make sure I get where I have to be.
Okay, cool. And Asia?
Right now, my goal is to make Carifta, and after that, I want to do track in university. I want to be on the track team, whether it's a walk-on at first and then be on the actual team, or just start off as the team, with the team. And what I need to do to get there is put my mind to it and just keep pushing myself to do better every time.
Good stuff, good stuff. Now, here comes a funny question. What is something that you have to do before competition that kind of focus you in on what you need to do? Because everyone has a kind of a routine of something they do. And Brian, you can't lie because I've seen you several times. So, and if you say it wrong, I'm going to be on you. So actually, I'm going to start with you, Brian. What do you do before competition, or just before you either jump in the pool or whatever, that is something you have to remind yourself, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this?
All right. So I guess before every race, I'll do it's just something I've done since I was little, is when I'm on the blocks, I kind of do a little swing with my arms and then I slap my chest. And I don't know, that it's just something I've done for a while, and it just doesn't feel right now to not do it before a race. So I've just been doing that.
So you got it spot on because you beat yourself up just before you get into the pool. What about you, Amber?
Two things really. I put in my earphones and I listen to rap music just to get the energy pumping, really. And then before, like if I'm going back to serve, I actually have this routine that I do, and it's 3 bounces and like I spin the ball in my hands, and that's something I have to do. If not, like the serve's gonna be so bad. So yeah.
Is it something sometimes you forget to do, or you just so focused that
No,
it just happens?
that it's like ingrained as a routine. I never forget it. It's something that will always stay the same.
All right. What about you, Ezreal?
One thing I do is listen to music and turn it all the way up so I don't have no distractions.
So you blast it in your ears so nobody, you can't hear anybody outside of those headphones?
Yep.
Okay, all right. What about you, Alan?
Before a game every day, well, not every day, but before a game, I would have to watch football. I wake up, gotta watch some football. So pretty much my favorite player is Cristiano Ronaldo. So I'd watch at least an hour of just random videos about him before I play. And then when I get to the field, before I warm up, well, not before, when I'm warming up, I have to hold my pads. I just don't put in my socks. I have to hold in my hand while I warm up. It's just something I do. I don't even realize it until like I just watch it back. So yeah.
All right, good stuff. And you guys?
Like Azrael and Amber said, I listen to music. I have to listen to this one particular song by Chief Keef, which just gets me pumped. Like, yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, all right. And you've already stated that you want to try and make the Carifta team. How far are you off in time, and which discipline are you trying to get in on?
I'm trying to make the 400 mainly because that's my race, my main race. And I'm a bit off. Like, I'm off. But I should be able to get close or get there.
Okay. You got confidence in yourself to get there?
Yes, because that's what I want to do.
No, yeah, you have to set yourself goals. Have to set yourself goals. Of course, sports has taken a big hit over the last year and a half, where some of you guys, sport has not been able to get back into action. Some have returned, and then obviously going back on lockdown. But over the past year, what have you been doing to ensure that you stay ready for whenever your sport returned or is got to return? What have you done personally to ensure that when that whistle goes, you're ready to start whenever it is called upon? And I'm going to start with you, Alan.
So during lockdown, I started to work on my upper body strength. So my lower body was always strong and I was always fit, but the upper body was I was a bit thin. So I started working on that, doing pull-ups and stuff like that every other day. And for me, for football, match fitness is like a very key factor. You can run as long as you want every day, but if you haven't played a match in a while, it's always going to be difficult no matter how fit you are. So when I get back on the match field, it's been a while. I'm going to have a few struggles because I'm not very match fit. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing through this year.
Well, trust me, match fitness, you won't be the only one. There's quite a few that will have that same problem because they haven't played. So, Adrielle, what about you?
I've been doing taekwondo and going on runs, and then going to a football field to kick a few balls in the net with my siblings to make sure I stay ready.
How much, because we never touched on that, how much of the taekwondo helps you to concentrate, meditate, just do things that keeps you calm for whatever challenges is facing you?
Mainly discipline and focus, because when I'm fighting or doing forms, I have to remember what I'm gonna do and to focus and be ready for what I'm gonna do and make sure that I get it done.
Okay, good stuff. Kaija?
So I have a personal trainer. So I was able to train with her, not during lockdown, obviously, but once we was able to get out, I would start training with her and she would help me get back. And then during lockdown, since I just got off of training, I still did like little stretches here and there. I did little workouts, but it stopped. And then I went to my personal trainer.
Oh, okay. All right. What about you, Brian?
Well, fortunately with swimming, we were able to get not back in the pools, but like we were swimming on the beach and the ocean pretty quickly. But when we were like really in lockdown, I was trying to make sure I wasn't eating too much because with swimming, after I come home after practice, I'm pretty hungry, so I'll be eating, and it's hard to kind of not eat as much as I am when I'm not swimming because I'm so used to it. So I was trying to keep track of my calories and try to stay same body weight, and then I was also just I was doing pull-ups and just I have some dumbbells, so I was making sure to keep my strength up.
Yeah. Now, for you, the challenging thing, and a lot of people probably won't even realize this, when you're swimming, when you're swimming in the pool, you got that line that would tell you you're going straight. But when you're in the open water, there's no line.
Yeah.
How different is it for you doing those two?
Well, so open water swimming is actually really different from pool swimming because especially if you're swimming in the ocean, you have a lot more buoyancy and you don't really have to kick as much. So it kind of, I guess for me, it did develop some bad habits, but it definitely helped my endurance and my stamina get back and help me get back in shape because there's no line, so you have to look forward and look up, which isn't good body position for swimming. So
Right.
that was a bad habit that I had to change when I got back in the pool, but it definitely helped me get back to fitness, my normal fitness levels.
Okay. And Amber?
To be honest, I did slack off those 2-ish months, 2 months
Yeah.
in lockdown. I did absolutely nothing. And then when I came out, I actually put myself straight into beach and it hurt so unbelievably bad. But it kept that fitness up. And then once we got back into indoor in September, I was actually ahead of those people who haven't been doing anything for 6 months. So that was a nice sort of way to keep me fit. And then I also got a personal trainer and started going to the gym. I make the crack of dawn 7:30 in the morning before school. It's honestly the worst and it hurts so bad. But I have seen improvements in my game from working out. So yeah.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, I want to thank you all for your time. I want to encourage you guys to keep up the good work that you have done so far, and good luck in your next journey in sport, in school. Achieve everything you want to achieve. Don't be distracted. Just do what you have to do. At the end of the day, it's all about you, and you have family and a lot of people supporting you. And giving you any encouragement to do even better. Okay? So I want to say thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your night, okay?
Thank you, you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Thank
Okay.
you.